We are live.
Oh, we're live.
We're live?
Oh,
Are we
yes.
live?
Welcome
Oh my
to the
God,
Guys
here
and
we
Guys
are.
podcast. We're talking about Japanese music. We have a special show today. We're going to be talking about the BAND-MAID interview that happened 2 years ago. And finally got it up. It's out and released. And we got Joe, who was with us for this interview. He set up this whole thing. By the way, shout out to him. He allowed me to do sound for this whole gig. So I was fortunate enough to work with him. And Ryan and I were fortunate enough to ask questions for this interview. So thank you again, Joe, for setting this up with Fox and everything. We appreciate you for that. And we also got Ranj, who has a channel that's dedicated to BAND-MAID. It's an awesome channel. He has documentaries and much, much more about the individual band members. And he's always posting up really cool fan cam footage and stuff to put together almost like music videos, I guess you could say, in some cases.
Let's do it,
Yeah, he puts a lot of work behind it. So make sure you go show that channel some love, subscribe to that channel. He does great work over there. Yeah, I'll let Ryan take this away, or whatever you guys want to start with first. Interview.
I was not prepared for this. That's okay.
Joe, go ahead.
We've heard about it. We've heard about it like every day, especially probably all of us every day. Somebody asking, and it's like, you know what? If it was up to us, it would have been out years ago. But for whatever reasons beyond our control, it wasn't. But now it is, and we finally got to see it. It's another interview from stateside that it's kind of a rare thing. And even though it was 2 years old, I think there's still some pretty cool information within it. I think Joe did a good job of putting it together and kind of bringing some up-to-date stuff to it to make it keep it relevant and still promote the band in a way that a lot of people that may not know about them. It's a good introduction to the band.
Oh,
but yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Hold on.
What happened? Well, we got some cool footage to show off right now. So we're going to play this clip here while Joe's taking that phone call. Joe, if you can mute yourself, that'd be awesome.
The room next to me.
We can hear you, Joe. It'd be great if you can mute yourself. He's not muting
I don't
himself.
think you can hear us.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
I should have just muted him. All right, we're gonna play this clip that Joe put together, and this is where I run away because I was embarrassed by this. But but here you go. Irving Plaza to see, and now I'm here in New York City at the Irving Plaza to see BAND-MAID. But right now we're hearing BAND-MAID sound check at this very moment. Insane. Sounds amazing. This show's gonna be spectacular. Your face is gonna be melted off by Konami's leads. Guaranteed. Your eardrums are gonna be bursted out by Misa's bass playing and Akane's drums, as you can hear already. I think she already ate 8 bananas. I don't know, something like that. But the point is, you won't have a face anymore or ear holes. Alan, for the guys, you guys out. Ryan, get over here. He's the hated one of the guys. What was the point of this promo thing?
To promote.
Yeah, we didn't use any of this. I don't understand why we're showing this. I think there's a reason why.
Just show it because it was fun, man. We had a good time.
Yeah, fun for someone.
And you chopped up with the best part when Ryan said he was going to hold on to that cup forever because it came from BAND-MAID's green room.
I'm not done playing it. It's still going. I was just pausing it to.
Look at me not knowing how this stuff works.
We need to teach you about reaction videos here, Joe. We
pause. I'm sorry, I'm such a rook.
We pause excessively, to annoy everybody in the chat as we're watching a video. Well, no, just kidding. That's just me, not Ryan. I'm kidding.
So Ryan, how do you feel about being here? Feel pretty good. Feel really good about it, and I cannot believe it. Actually, waiting to wake up.
How many holy crap moments have you been having?
I can't even. I lost count. I lost count. Yeah, it's too good. I don't know.
You think you're on number holy crap 100?
At least, man. Cloud 57 and yeah. So it's a great thing, and they sound amazing already. So I can't wait to see the show.
Yeah.
All your fans.
Subscribe to the Guys Guys podcast because you're gonna get good stuff like this.
Yeah, much better than this.
No. And you?
We're doing it for you guys. As hard as the thing it is, we'll do it for you.
And Ryan's gonna hold on to that coffee cup to the end of time.
All right, got
That's
this
BAND-MAID coffee.
from the BAND-MAID green room.
It's Folgers edition BAND-MAID style.
It's the best coffee I ever had.
Yeah, I can't think of a better coffee. Pretty sure. Never mind. This is about to go. Thank God that ended it.
Ryan here had a question for Konami. Ask her.
Oh my. I was wondering how different a song is from what you initially write to the finished product on the album. Them turning into
Hey, guys.
I'm sorry, Ryan. What, say it again?
Go,
So,
Ryan.
yeah, when I asked that question, I didn't know I was going to. I thought Joe was just going to ask it on behalf.
Oh, I
of me.
planned that the whole time.
He goes, "Go ahead, ask her." I'm like, "What?" So my shock showed on my face, and that's why they all cracked up laughing. So I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
So
It
that was
was-
fun.
That was just such a moment, and it's just one of those things where it's just like I had to script that in my head because I knew I was asking that question. I knew it was the question you wanted to ask, and I knew if I put you on the spot, you would turn beet red to start with, which you did, and they would love it, and they did. So love it when a plan comes together. So that worked out really well.
Now Ryan has proof because nobody believed him, right, Ryan?
Right. Been saying this. It's like, trust me.
Yeah, bullshit. Security.
How many
mirror.
times have we all been saying this interview never happened? It's just like,
Yeah.
we were, God, how many times I was told, just release it. And I'm like, no, I can't just release it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and that's just something that happens in this business, which I guess we get used to it, right? And I always forget that, yeah, people don't understand how this works. You have to go through a lot of permissions through the management, through the label, and all those kind of things happen behind the scenes. But a lot of things that people didn't know about was, hey, you did the interview, so why can't you just post this? Because you got to get approval for the questions, and then you conduct the interview, and then you have to get approval for that video edit afterwards. Like, for example, Hanabiye had a lot of requests after the fact when we did the video, and we did that, and BAND-MAID did also. And also one of those requests was not to post it yet. But
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that, I don't just post an interview. I produce an interview. And there's a difference.
it was like
Because-
a piece. Yeah.
I'm introducing these bands to people never heard of these people.
Yep.
I'm introducing them to 600,000 Fox viewers, and they have no idea who these bands are. So I got to throw music in. So you got to get music clearances. Then I got to, I kind of got to introduce them. It's a whole process. So it's not just like, when you see an interview online where the guy's just standing there going, "Oh, what's your favorite color? Oh, what's your favorite food?" Stuff like that. I have to put it together and tell a story within the interview. So that is a lot of why it takes a little longer. That's also why the Baby Metal one took a little longer. Hanabiye took a little longer. And then, this one was just,
Yeah.
long.
G-Man in the chat wants to know how many questions to be asked were asked or shown on the interview. How many questions were not in that interview that we had to cut out?
I'd say there was about 5 or 6 questions that had to get cut out.
Was there that many?
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 5 or 6. Just because we were asking stuff and they were also kiboshing a lot of the questions as we were asking them.
Hey, shout out for the super chat by Makaluka. Thank you so much for the $20. He said, "Glad to see guys and guys are back. Hello, Orange and Joe. Love how you all enrich the community." Thank you. I appreciate that. We love doing
thank you
it.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
And by the
But-
way, ask questions, guys, about the interview. That's what this stream's for. We're going to be talking about the behind the
Yeah,
scenes
really,
stuff
we
with
got
it.
lots
Ask as many as you
of
want.
knowledge that we love to share, and who knows, we don't know who knows what. So because we've been talking about this kind of secretly for 2 years.
Yeah, things
And
get forgotten, you know, without those proper triggers.
yes,
But
and it was just, I mean, I just, you know, looking back at the footage last night when I was sending you that stuff, it was just like I forgot what a great day that was. You know, we started off, you know, I met you guys for the first time.
Yep.
You know, this is the first time we actually met face to face, and you guys were eating Chipotle, I think, and I
yeah.
come walking in, and it was just like we're just having a conversation. Hey, you know, nice to meet you. And then I realized that both these guys are a lot taller than I thought.
oh yeah, this is the
And
first time meeting each other, huh? In person.
yeah, it was the first time we met
Yep.
in person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joe and
so
I
that-
talked on like through the phone multiple times.
Yeah,
but
you know, we talked back and forth a bunch, but we never met in person.
that's right.
And then, you know, but my favorite thing was because when Ryan was there, see, I know how these things work. I'm allowed to bring as much crew as I need. All right. So
That was
when,
perfect.
you know, Alan already knew he was going to run audio for me, and he did a great job. All right. But Ryan's like, oh, I'm going to go get back in line. He's showing me his hand. He had a number on his hand of where he was in line. And it's like, we're getting all the gear out of my car.
Yeah.
And I go, here, just carry this and follow us in.
I thought
And
I was just real quick. I'm glad you're mentioning this. Hold that thought real quick. It was
Okay.
funny because there was a Reddit comment that was like, "Oh, these are two random people." I'm like, guys, I hired to do sound actually, like
Yes.
actually run sound for venues and stuff. Like, not joking when I talk about it in the reactions, but I thought it was funny. They're like, "Oh, they're just two random people that were brought in, two random fans." Like, no, this
Yeah,
is part
they
of
were
my
saying
job.
like, you know, oh,
Yeah.
that's why the band was pissed off. It was just like these two
Yeah.
random people coming in. And I was like, no, because I'm coming in from Fox and you guys were my crew. You know, we had, you know, everybody had to show ID, and, you know, we all had to get, you know, scanned. You know, it's, you know, I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to bring crew, you know, and I saw that Reddit comment too, and it's just like, no, you're wrong. You know, sorry.
Yeah. Let's answer a couple questions here and then we'll watch the rest of the clip and then talk more about it. You Never Walk Alone says, so how did the interview come to? I can't imagine that you just casually asked BAND-MAID. No, I don't think it was a casual
No,
ask.
it wasn't a casual ask. First of all, I had to figure out who the heck I talked to, you know, because, you know, their management company, it's kind of weird, because the way I go in is usually through the promoter.
Mhm.
And then the promoter gets me in touch with the actual band. So that's how I went about this one. I got in touch with, I knew who was promoting the show. And then from there, they got me in touch with the management who would either say, yeah, okay, or no. And they said, okay. And I had told Alan about this interview 6 months before we actually did it.
It was in the works for a long time.
And because it was still like, you know, it was, as much as it was finalized, it was still kind of up in the air, because bands all the time do this to me, and it makes me like really upset, and nothing I can do about it. But they'll say, yeah, and then cancel at the last minute. And, you know, because the venue isn't appropriate to do an interview, when they get there, they're like, oh my God, this room sucks. You know, I really don't want to do it. And that's what happened with Ginger. When I interviewed Tatiana, all right, which is coming out in about 2 weeks, I didn't know I was doing that interview until an hour before I did it. I actually went to the venue not knowing if I was going to do the interview because it was a festival.
Yeah, same with Man with a Mission. You had to be ready to do it right on the spot. It was not planned out. You had to do it last minute. Let's watch. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
No, let's watch the rest of this clip, and then we'll take these other questions from all of you. I see them in there. I have a pin on those. Let's finish this clip up, and then so I'm sure this will make people more curious about what else happened.
Okay, sure. Where's the audio?
Hey, who are you?
Hey, I know you.
Oh, there's no audio for you guys. Let me fix that.
Now
There you
it
go.
just popped in.
It
Yeah.
just popped in, yeah.
I think you got a pretty good spot.
You got a better spot. I really wonder why.
Wait, Ryan gave up the camera already?
No, I just took it.
Oh, you took it. All right.
Oh, it's my camera.
Where's Ryan?
He's in
John
the back,
there.
man.
Woo! BAND-MAID! Woo!
Oh, Alan, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, we're a little close.
I think we need to move forward. Oh, there he is. There's that Ryan guy.
I think
Hey,
Ryan and I
Ryan.
were just talking shit the entire time we were there.
What's going on?
A little bit.
To each other. To say.
Yeah, subscribe.
Ryan, you want to see our effects?
Holy crap.
Should do that. Yeah. Ryan, I'm so sorry. You're not gonna like the chant coming soon.
Come on, Alan, man, you got to say something worthy.
I'm fucking ready to go.
Really?
Yeah.
You think you'll get a good shot right here?
I think I'll get a good shot here. Got the
Okay.
mic ready, phone ready. Ready to go.
Oh, look, it's Orange. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very fine, thank you. Can't wait for the show.
Yeah, we're so ready for BAND-MAID, man. It's going to be an awesome show, man.
Yeah.
We came all the way from Europe, Ireland, and France. We're here in New York City for BAND-MAID.
I came all the way from New York City, so all right, well. So, Ryan, who's got the best seat in the house tonight?
Right now I do. But I won't be here all night. These guys deserve what they got.
What? Oh, these guys?
Hardcore band.
What, you're not hardcore?
I'm doing all right with my hardcore and the band fandom.
Hey, you know you got touch your pedal board right there.
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm kidding.
Like I said, go look at Konami settings, make sure you got them all.
Nobody's going to memorize those settings.
No.
Videotape, documented.
All right, guys, let me hear it. Come on, guys, make some noise.
World domination!
Come on.
I'm glad.
Oh, look at that. All right.
Oh shit, I didn't see that. That's
Where'd
pretty
you guys come from?
Boston.
Boston? Yeah. Oh, we don't talk to Boston people here in New York.
cool. Wow.
Jersey, we don't talk to you Bridgeton people either. Thanks, guys.
All right. All right, we got a lot of questions in the chat already. Thank you all so much for the super chats, by the way, coming in. Thank you, MMP of BAND-MAID. What does MMP stand for? But thank you so much for
Masters and
the
Princesses.
Oh wow, is this the second time I fucked this up? I think so. But
Yeah.
CMST with $5 super chat alert. Thank you, CMST. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the super chats. Appreciate you all. All right, so some of these questions in here, let me pull them up real quick. Where did it go? Oh, they want to know, Ryan, if they recognized us as a reaction channel when we were interviewing. From my perspective, I don't think they did, but maybe they did.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, they didn't.
I think they recognized Mr. Rock and
Sadly.
Roll. I think that was
Yes.
mainly the reaction.
Yeah,
they checked.
because of the
Akane
voice.
loves him.
However, their crew recognized Dichotic channel because
Yes,
he mentioned about the sim reactions and Crossfaith reactions. So he knew us from Crossfaith, their management did, which was really crazy. I wasn't expecting that, because we kind of expect BAND-MAID maybe to check has seen it because a lot of our channels have a lot of viewership on the BAND-MAID ones. So it was kind of interesting that it was because of Crossfaith reactions or other reactions that we do at least on the Dichotic and Ryan's channel.
Well, we had both labels there that day. We had Pony Canyon and JPU there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah, we had both of them. Yeah, but so that was probably the only recognition I would say that came from when we were there.
And 2 years ago, my channel would have been, it was pretty small. Still not big, but it would have been a lot less then. I don't know where I was then. But
We were recognized mainly for Gaijin guys too at the time. Like that was the
Yeah.
biggest thing everyone brought up. Oh, Gaijin guys, which is awesome. That's amazing that the Gaijin guys, was getting recognized. What were the other questions here? I lost them here. I think that was it. Was that it? I thought I saw more.
Oh, there was more than that.
Yeah.
There was more.
I lost some.
Keith asked if are you still in contact with BAND-MAID, but I don't know who was the question for.
Oh yeah, are we
Maybe for
still-
Joe?
That's
I'm
for
sorry,
Joe. Are you still in contact with BAND-MAID?
Well,
And that's by Keith
considering
Meyer.
I just talked to them the day of the premiere, yeah, I'm still
Fair
in touch
enough.
with them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well,
So,
I'm
yeah, I need to get
actually,
the
I'm in
word
touch
out.
with, let me clarify. I'm actually in touch with their label.
Hmm.
All right. Because their management changeover right now, I'm not, they're not even dealing with any of this stuff right now because they're getting organized, because made it is, they got to make it, it's a whole new thing. So once that's all settled down, I'll reach out to Made It and talk to them and see what we could.
We've also discovered that Made It is pretty much most of the original management except for 1 or 2 people, right, Ryan? Was it
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what their information that we found.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Ryan
like I
wants
said-
to know, when did Joe discover BAND-MAID?
Oof. God.
when and how?
Probably about when Thrill dropped.
Oh wow.
Oh,
That
yeah.
video, I was way into baby metal back then, and my roommate turned me on. He goes, "You got to check this band out. This is really cool." And I thought it was kind of a gimmick at first, and then once I heard Misa, I was like, "No, this isn't a gimmick." And I was kind of hooked from that point on. So it was very soon after they dropped Thrill, the video for Thrill.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
Nice.
year that was. So, Orange, come on, what was the year they dropped?
Oh, they released it in 2013.
14?
Yeah.
Okay, so around 2014, that would make sense.
Mm.
Because that's when I interviewed Baby Metal, was in 2014. And it was very soon after that. So maybe in 2015, I discovered them.
Ryan, what were we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
I thought
can
you were about to say
say,
something earlier. So
Oh, I don't know. I think I was mentioning something that somebody took over already, but I will say that was the first time I'd ever been to New York City. I like me and Joe S from my Discord. I met him in DC, stayed with him, and was traveling with him, which made it way easier than me trying to make it around by myself, as Orange found out later. Just not very good at. But this was my first day in New York, walking through New York, being like in wonder there, and then walking up to the line, and then meeting Joe, and then going from just being super happy to be there to running a camera, and then running one during the show, which was also pretty damn. Yeah, it was a crazy day, man. Got to meet all them, met Orange and the other Europeans. And then we headed off to the rest of the show.
That really was such a fun day. It was one thing after another that was just made it more and more fun. Like when we walked, after we did the interview and we went down before they even started doing sound check, and they had all their guitars lined up on the floor, and it was just like, to me, that was like, it was almost surreal, because it's just like, okay, this is this band I absolutely adore, and I just talked to them, and now I'm going to watch them perform. But here they are, just getting off there, loading up, getting ready to play a show. And I don't know, that stuff is what makes this so fun to do.
Michael wants to know, did Misa answer any questions? If so, what were they, and did it involve beer?
I made a joke because I had to cut it out. I go, when I was asking them what they're bringing back from the States, back home, and they weren't really kind of understanding what I meant. So because they would, they originally said, Miku says, "Oh, sirloin steak," and then I was just, "No, I want to know each one of you." So I went around and I asked Misa, and I go, "Misa, what are you bringing back? You know, what memory are you bringing back from the States? Is it the beer? And she laughed. And then Miku jumps in and says, no, she said sirloin steak. But as you can tell when you watch the interview, it's kind of cut up because, you know, I didn't think it would be, it just didn't feel right to leave that the way I put it in, because then I'm kind of making her out to be a drunk or something like that. And I know everybody knows that she cracks a beer at the show and stuff like that, but
Yeah, they were
I
laughing
don't know, it just
about
didn't feel like it was the right thing to put in there. Because again, this is created for us, of course, because we're fans, but this is actually out there to promote them to people that have never heard of them. So
Yep.
by, you know, introducing them to people that have never heard of them, it's just like, I can't like make it seem, oh yeah, they're just a, excuse me, they're just a party band. You know, it's just like, you know, because they're already going to have the stigma because they dress like maids and, you know, that whole stigma that goes along with that. So I had to get past that. And that's why I introduced them in the piece the way I did. You know, who would have thought the future of music would have been 5 Japanese women dressed as maids?
Liberty Mutual customer.
Sorry
Wow,
about
that was weird.
Oh,
yeah,
it was loud.
Just make sure you're awake, you know? You guys awake over there?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's pretty much, you know, what that's all about. And that's why I had to cut it up. The Akane thing, I thought was cute. When she said she, you know, like to be, you know, there's a lot of drum sets, vintage drum sets that she would have liked to have brought back. And I put the record labels on the spot by saying, well, if you want those drum sets, you know, just tell the label, they're right over here. Just tell them and they'll get it for you. And then she goes, and she goes, please. You know?
When they translate it, she's like, oh my God, you know, that's funny. The reaction to that. Yeah,
and
everybody wants to know what the banging noise was at the beginning of the interview.
Oh my God, that was me being a dumbass. These guys, the non-professionals, they were pros the whole day. What do? I dropped my cell phone right in the middle of an answer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot that happened because I almost laughed. I was like, that's
I was just like, and we all, you know, I was, you can't hear it because I lowered it down, but I was like, sorry, you know. And Miku she was a pro. She just like, kind of startled her, and then she just kept going. So yeah, that was me being a dumbass dropping the phone.
Orange put a question in the chat. He said, does Ryan still have that cup of coffee?
I don't have the coffee cup.
Boo! What?
Boo.
That's kind of crazy.
And all the craziness that happened.
I still have this.
I still got that. That's on
I still have this.
Great. It's right here on my laptop.
Yeah.
Wow.
I gave mine away.
I gave mine away too. I gave mine to someone. If you know whoever you are, you have it.
Hi, Joe. It's Sam.
Oh, that's one of my coworkers.
Ah.
Joe and Sam. Well, welcome, Samantha.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't save that coffee cup, actually. But yeah, I get you. You're in the
it was
moment.
before the whole show, man. We'll keep track of that thing, and there was enough other memories. That was
yeah.
You know.
But,
I'm waiting for the fake fan comments to come in the chat. That's what normally happens. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
You know, what's kind of sad about the whole thing too is because I know, Alan, you recorded the whole interview on your cell phone. And I tried, and I wanted to show the clip when they walked in and they Konami recognized Ryan's shirt.
Sure. Oh yeah, I have that in my interview video. I didn't send that to you? I thought I did.
Well, I have
it. Pretty fun. Okay, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't know if we should show them walking in and you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, they were the management was just don't show them without their battle gear. You know, was the main main.
Well, they had their armor on, so
they had it on.
Yeah,
but
yeah, she recognized that I while I was waiting in line, the camera guy Atsushi-san was going back and forth interviewing people, and he stopped and talked to me. and I gave a little interview. And then when he came back by, because I had some of my shirts with me, and I was giving them away to people. If anybody wanted one or said anything about it, I was giving them away. And I gave one to him. I said, "Could you please give this to Konami?" I told him what it meant. He's like, "I assure you, I will." So when she walked into the interview room, she saw my shirt immediately. Like, oh, and said something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she recognized your shirt." I was like, "Oh, awesome."
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I also love the
yeah,
fact that you had the piece up that I had to put in. We got a solo out of Akane that night, so I wanted to make sure I got that in the piece, and because I got a lot of comments that saying, "Oh, we didn't get a solo," and I was just like, "Yeah, we got to show them off as best we can." The thing with like the way I had to present it was, I had introduced Miku because she created the band. Konami because she's the guitar hero in the band. I really didn't get to touch on Misa and Psyche, believe it or not, but I tried to do it at the end when putting up from Jonathan Lane. He gave me a bunch of photos. I asked him for a bunch of photos, and he gave me some really nice shots. And I figured I put those up, and they were like ISO shots of them because when I was shooting them, I was all the way back by the soundboard. I was at the front of the house board, and I didn't want to zoom in because I wanted to keep the whole stage the whole time because I couldn't, my camera was on top of a road case.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to block anybody that was standing behind me. So basically I went up there, I hit record, and I got down. So, that was just like the logistics of it. But I got to give mad props to their management that night, because they allowed me to tap into the audio board, and which bands don't usually do, because they want you to just take the sound that's coming out of the PA. And Alan, I know you've heard it. Ryan, I don't know if you've heard the raw, but hearing it come straight out of the board and then mixing it with the crowd mic, it actually sounded really good. It almost sounded professionally done. And that's part of it that I'm really proud of, is that all the live stuff that I shot, I think sounds really good. I don't know about you guys. You can comment now. I'll wait.
I'll be honest, I don't remember. It's been a while since I listened to it. I think it did sound pretty good.
I don't think I heard the board audio. I think I heard audio from your camera, but not from the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll share that with you.
What do you?
Wonderful.
Samo Alex says, "What do you want to change if you get the chance to interview them again?" I'm assuming do you want to ask in the next interview?
Okay. Here's what. For a second interview, this is how it's going to play. I want to be able to submit our questions ahead of time. So this way, when we walk in, we don't have that confusion that we had when we got there that day, because that was really kind of threw us for a loop, because we had a whole series of questions and then they're like, no, can't ask that. No. And also I want to do where they're, if their manager is going to be that much on top of them, I want the manager to be standing next to me, not off to the side. And for this reason, it made it very difficult to edit this, because with every question, Miku had to look over basically to the manager to say, okay, can I answer this? And then come back.
Yeah, because the difference being with, like, for Hanabe example, they were more prepared or ready for it because they told us ahead of time what to cross off the list or whatnot.
Right. There were a couple of questions that they said, no, we don't want to talk about that. And when we asked them, the question about who they want to collaborate with, they said no, because whatever reason, and I don't want to get into it, but but that's okay. I don't mind that, because I send them a rough cut, and then they come back and say, okay, you can leave this, take this, leave this, take this. And Baby Metal is the same way, but Baby Metal was so cool. They would just like basically came back and said, yeah, post it.
Here's a question for you. I think this is a good question. I don't mind asking it again, or we don't mind answering it again, just because this is like the official interview questions that you guys are asking about this interview. That didn't make any sense. But this is like our official video about this interview. So don't worry about asking the same question. But Brian wants to ask, I have not heard this yet, but why was this interview blocked for so long?
There was a lot of reasons. All right. And personally, I don't want to talk badly of anybody that was involved with the process. Okay. But there was a lot of going back and forth. And then all of a sudden there was like silence. And I reached out again to say like, what's going on, blah, 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 and silence. So I just said, okay, I'll just chill with this for a while and see what happens. And time went by. And what I wound up doing was, because the original edit of this was probably about 4 minutes longer. And so I said, you know what? It was almost a year at that point. It was maybe 7 months. And I said, let me re-edit this, because it was right before they played the big show in Japan. And so I was in my train of thought. So what wound up happening was I said, let me re-edit this, make it more current, and I'll send that off to them. All right. So I did that, nothing. I was like, all right, whatever, I'll just sit on it for a while. All right. Then when Ryan called me and said, Joe, did you hear that, BAND-MAID is fired their own management and now is going to be managing themselves? Basically, they started their own management company. He goes, maybe you should reach out. And what I wound up doing was I reached out, and it was hard. There was nobody to contact that made it yet. So I went to JPU and reached out to JPU, and I wound up getting somebody very high up at JPU. And he was like, okay, this is cool, and whitelisted it right away. And then he goes, then we set the premiere up, and Pony Canyon comes back and says, well, we haven't screened it yet. You can't premiere it yet. We're still reviewing it. And that's why we had to cancel the original premiere, was because Pony Canyon said, no, you can't do this yet. And I was like, okay, no problem. We'll look like asses, but no problem. And, but then it was like a day later, they came back and said, okay, you're good. And I was just like, oh, you couldn't do that like on Saturday, so we could have kept the premiere on Sunday. But it's no big deal. At least it's out there. That's the thing. I don't want to talk badly about anybody in the BAND-MAID camp. They, at the end of the day, they're doing what they need to do to, their image of their band, and they want to do what they need to do. All right. So I'm not talking badly about any of them. I still love the band. I love what they're doing now. I think their new music is amazing. All right. I can't wait till they come back, and hopefully we can talk to them more of a specific interview, because this was really generic. What was your thought process behind this song? How would you feel about doing a collaboration? You did the Warning. Is there going to be, are they going to open for you when you do the US? Stuff like that. Stuff like us fans really want to know.
Yeah,
but
a lot of it though had to do with management not wanting to do those type of questions also though. So to be fair on you, like I had mentioned in my podcast with Eric, there was questions that were a little bit more fan related that we were not allowed to ask.
Yeah, like who their favorite artists were.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, and
they want the questions to be more on the generic side. Like that's how it is with that over in Japan. Because even with Man with Mission, when I did an interview, same thing. You couldn't really bring up certain things. You had to keep it towards that more generic side.
Didn't want to show
Unfortunately,
favoritism.
Yeah, exactly. Same with Baby Metal. It was the same kind of thing. To answer Samantha's question, she said, do you guys think the band will ever branch out and collaborate with American metal bands? And that was a really good question, because I was like, oh, wait, they have collaborated. But I was like, wait, not metal bands, though.
Well, Incubus, I mean, Some Incubus has some pretty heavy shit, but they didn't do
Yeah.
a metal song. I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah,
see
I
a
don't know why
Slipknot
they
collab.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, they did do that cover.
Come on, Corey Taylor can sing. He doesn't have to
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah. Big Sam mentions in the chat they may want to keep details under wraps so they can release that info themselves on their own timeline and after things are fully finalized. And that's a really good point. Really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very good point. You know, but again, we can't always go in being total fanboys. That's, because remember, I come from, a pretty big name place. I'm coming from Fox. So they're expecting a certain type of interview from me as opposed to a fan or just some blogger backstage or something like that. So there's a different bar for me that's always set. So it's a fine line I got to walk as well. So, I'm just happy now because finally, and I'm just happy.
Yeah.
You know?
And here in the US, we're so used to this transition that we have already went through with bands where everybody is into the sitting down, having a conversation type interviews. And we got to remember that other countries are not in that space yet. And they could be,
True.
but
True.
it's a very US type of thing. Just sit down, have a conversation kind of vibe or interview. So like when we say interviews over here, it's more like we're having a conversation or a talk, while asking questions and, getting in there to really know them because there's a whole like podcast movement and stuff. People are sitting down with artists or sitting down with other people. We see it everywhere. Where Joe is still in the space of we got to ask these specific amount of questions and that's it. And some bands, that's all you can do it with. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, you saw with Baby Metal, they were, 24 hours before the interview, I had to wait for Koba to come back with the released questions because we submitted like 15 or 17 questions to them and came back and they approved like 8, so, that's just how it goes, and I just want to know going in what I can ask and what I can't ask. But I wanted to, who was it that said, hold on. Oh, about Slipknot having different management. Because they were on Roadrunner forever. And now that they're off Roadrunner, I could see them doing something like this. And I'll tell you why, because BAND-MAID was, played with them. They played on their tour. So it's just like, why not? Even if it's just, Corey coming out and doing like a, something with Psyche. I think it could be really, really cool. I don't know. I'm a big Slipknot fan, so I'd love to see that happen. So,
Raj, you got anything to wondering about? You want to add about?
Yeah, I was thinking about interviews and how we do them, and it's really a shame that BAND-MAID is not doing that many interviews outside of Japan because they are doing a lot of interviews for magazines, for example, and some videos from time to time. Not recently, but they used to do a lot of video interviews in Japan. But nowadays, since COVID, at least since COVID, they stopped doing interviews, especially not with. I saw old BAND-MAID interviews. It was like with pretty random people from YouTube, and it looks like they. I mean, we'll see if it changes with the new management. It probably will, and I hope that it will. But we need more fun like interviews, not the basic questions like why are you dressed as maids and what are your inspirations and what kind of music do you do and stuff like that. We need more intimate questions about them and how they do stuff. Well, something that will interest the fans. And about Man with a Mission, I saw some interviews of Junk and Johnny, and it seems like he can speak English very well, he's more comfortable answering question about how he worked on collaborations, like the last song he did with Miley. I saw in an interview that he talked about how they met, how they made the song, how they chose the artists and stuff like that. So it was very, very interesting stuff. And I hope that we will see some things like that in the future for BAND-MAID. Because in the magazines, their interviews are really detailed, very in-depth, with a lot of information about the making process of songs and who they
Yeah,
are.
they
And
like to share pretty
yeah,
in depth, like how the process.
I mean, on the world before the day before world domination interview, they are talking about their childhood, their family, how they grew up,
Yeah.
and what they did. It's pretty crazy. Just this interview says so much about each members, and I've never seen interviews like that overseas.
Yep. That's what I'd like to see too. Something where they can be comfortable, which it's tricky just with the language barrier and everything to get them comfortable and where they feel like they want to share. Kind of obvious when they do the radio shows, the radio interviews where they're comfortable with, they know the people they're with, they're comfortable with them, so they're just more willing to share. And here they really got to be careful what they say, and because they're not, it's being interpreted. So
Yeah, I mean,
conversations are different under interpretation. Just
yeah,
there's nuance to the language and everything, so you can't. There's a complexity that gets kind of lost in the interpretation sometimes, and as Joe's saying, if you can have the questions ahead of time, there can be more of a prepared answer.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny to see that you have to ask certain types of questions when you are doing an interview with BAND-MAID, but they released radio shows where they are talking to each other and talking about the time they were so drunk they don't even remember what they did and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny to see the contrast between those two, between when they talk to each other in the show that they just released on their fan site and a proper interview with someone.
Oh,
Well, also they might want to produce it themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're going to do something like that, I think that they would feel more comfortable shooting the whole thing, editing the whole thing, and having full control over the content if they're going to, go that deep into them. Because honestly, in my world, that's never going to happen what you want. All right, because that would take like a half hour. All right, to at minimum to really do backstory and stuff. That's why I love what you do, Orange, because it's just like you have such a way of telling their story, and you're really, how can I say, like a BAND-MAID historian. You're documenting their history for everybody to see, which I think is like pretty amazing. It's just like a lot of your stuff is like it goes so deep, and then you have, the animations that you've done and stuff like that. That's why I can't imagine why the band wouldn't just hire you, to be honest. You're already doing PR for them like 24/7. It's just like they just need to start cutting you a check.
I mean, I can work for free for
Hey,
them. They just have to ask.
Well, no, you don't want to work for free.
For them, I could.
Know that you're a fan, but you don't want to work for free. Okay. All this work that you've done, and your voiceover guy is just like amazing. That guy has such a killer voice.
Yeah, right. He's a professional, so.
Yeah, no, it shows.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, anybody got any specific question?
I was gonna ask Ryan and Orange. Is there anything you wanted guys to discuss about this interview?
Ryan?
Or questions you guys had?
I don't know. I've been talking about
it. Before we wrap up here, any other last minute questions?
Just that I remember seeing Ryan and Alan going to the venue with the camera and the gear and with Joe, and Ryan was so confused about why he was going into the venue at this time.
Yeah, I've been walking in there to feel like I was gonna get in trouble and kicked out like the whole time I was there. Like, you're not supposed to be here.
It was pretty funny.
I will say, man, when Joe gave me a camera and he's like, "You're gonna take that camera and you can film some of the show," and they gave me a list of, I think there was 5 I think
Yeah, 5 songs.
tracks. They're like, you can record these songs. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, cool.
Yep.
So, and the crew that was there was great. Like, of course they didn't know me, but if I was shooting something, they were going under the camera or just waiting, and we just kind of, they were very courteous, and to be able to, just get out of their way, they're getting out of my way. I stayed kind of off to the side. I didn't want to go in the middle and get in anybody's way. But it was really cool just to kind of see that side of it and, be worked with. It was pretty cool.
I wish you would have got in front of Miku.
Yeah, well,
Well, next time.
my biggest regret is the phone I had with me, because when I wasn't using Joe's camera, I'd put it down and I'd use my own, and it was crap. Everything from it was bad. I'm like, oh my god,
Oh,
I could have had so much cool stuff, but it was just not good. I upgraded as soon as I got back and looked. No, this is not good.
You guys understand this question? Do the members keep their instruments together, or they always take them from home? Oh, okay, I read it differently earlier. I think they keep their instruments with them. I'm pretty sure they did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weird question because everything just gets.
I mean, like together in the studio, maybe.
Do they
Yeah.
have different instruments at home?
Yeah.
Be a little confusing.
In
I'm
the
trying to
U.S.
think if I've ever
tour,
seen 'em
they
walk into a
ship them
studio.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they're not gonna rent a gear when they get here.
Oh, well, they do rent.
Well, they do
gear.
rent
Well, they'll rent
amplifiers.
amps and stuff like that, but they're not gonna
That's
rent
gear,
guitars.
Joe.
Yeah. So at home, when they're recording and working on songs, they do a lot of file sharing. They don't do a lot of jamming together. So even the recording process, they don't go to the studio and record a song. It's all being sent to Konami. So yeah, their gear goes home with them. I think what they play mainly. Now, that being said, one of the recent interviews, Konami made a point of saying that, like when they worked with the Warning, and they actually got to work together in the studio to kind of flesh things out, that there was another circumstance, but I think she was interested in working on it in more of a band together format instead of separated all the time, because it's just a different feel. So, maybe, I mean, they already put up on Prime, the rehearsal for HGK,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
And in their civvies, in their regular clothes. So if you want to, I mean, there's some cool stuff on Prime. You want to join that? It's pretty cheap.
It is.
And there's
It's
a lot
totally
of
worth
stuff on
it.
there.
Totally
Yeah, there's a
worth
lot
it.
of stuff like we want to see that's on there.
Yep.
And
Another reason why they don't allow us to film certain things, because you can get that stuff in
Sure.
their paid memberships.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, which is smart
le-
business.
Yeah. At least starting from now, because they never did that before.
Yeah.
So it's probably thanks to Made It, I guess.
Why? Samuel says, why do they block the recordings of some songs? Do they tell why? What
like
songs
why I wasn't
were
allowed to
blocked?
record the whole.
Oh, why they only allowed us to record certain songs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's on management. Usually when I do a band, they usually allow you to do 2 minutes from the first 3 songs. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. They were actually cooler, and they let us do like the first song, then all the homogenized times, all the the banter, and then the last 2 songs, which was Domination and I forget what the last song
I want to
was.
mention also another reason why they have specific songs chosen, because those are normally the most practiced songs or the most perfected songs too. And they want like the
Absolutely.
best product to be released out to the public. Rather, they do the other songs, of course, because you want to keep the band happy, keep them interested in what they're doing. That's why they had like one rotating song. And those were probably not to what management considers to be, up to par yet, even though we know all the songs sounded great. but yeah,
True.
those are like specifically chosen songs by management, and it's normally because of a quality kind of thing.
Well, the
normally.
thing is too, when I did the Miku song, I kind of was a little sneaky about that because they didn't say we could do that one. And that's why I put the video was all fan cams. You know, so
Is it?
you
Yeah.
know, so that was my little workaround. But you know, truth be told, you know, the audio was I produced that audio. So, you know.
All right. I
We are
think
live,
that's.
Joe.
I think we'll end it there. Guys, I appreciate you all. Appreciate you all coming in for the show. Thank you all for joining us. Awesome questions. We appreciate you. If you guys want to drop more questions down below in the comment section, go ahead and do so. You guys will be live tomorrow at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. We moved our show to Monday to work around some of our work schedules for our new jobs. So we appreciate
true.
you guys being lenient with us. And we will see you all tomorrow at 6:30. And we'll
Thanks,
answer.
everybody.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
really.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
All right. See you guys later. See you.
See you.
See you.